5 underrated red flags in a man. 1. If he calls all of his exes crazy. Translation, he was the problem. 2. He's inconsistent. Sometimes all in, sometimes MIA. If you're confused, that's your answer. 3. He love bombs but disappears when you actually need the support. 4. He talks big about future but makes zero moves in the present. 5. He gets jealous of your success instead of proud. A man who can't clap for you will eventually compete with you.
What were the things you didn't know were red flags in your relationship? So guys, today's video we are going to be talking about red flags. The things we see in our relationship, in our past relationship, maybe also in our present relationship, but we don't know they are red flags. In fact, we think is green flag. So guys, we are going to be looking at some couple of videos of people coming out to say the things they saw on their relationship that they didn't know it was red flags, like they just brush it out, they didn't know. So now they are here to tell you guys, to tell us that if we are seeing those things in our relationship, we should know that those are red flag and we should leave or maybe talk about it with our partner. So guys, let's dive into this video, but before we do, don't forget to give a like. It's very important to this video, and also I'll always give my opinion at the end of this video. Let's get right into this video, guys.
For all the women of God, these are 5 red flags that women excuse just because a man is attractive. Number 1, and we're gonna hop right into it. He pressures you physically. He asks for sexual stuff early. Y'all just started talking. He trying to take you back to the crib to get in your pants. He trying to push your boundaries after you already said that you waiting. Hear me when I say this. A man that cares more about his desires than your purity is a man with no self-control. And if he doesn't have self-control for himself, what makes you think he's gonna have self-control when it comes to your relationship? A godly man gonna slow things down. He gonna protect you, but most importantly, he gonna protect your future and help you stay clean before God. Now, in 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, verses 3, it says, God's will for you is to stay holy, so stay away from sexual sin. Number 2, he does not love God. He does not pursue God on his own time. He does not go to church. He does not pray. And when he does, that's something that you got to remind him to do. And hear me when I say this. Don't think that you can change a man. In Ephesians 5:23, it talks about how the man is the head. A man needs to know how to take initiative for his own life. If a man is not led by God, what makes you think that he can lead you? You need to be around a man that runs to God first about every decision, not his feelings. Number 3, he inconsistent. One day he texts you, one day he don't. One day he obsessed with you, he love you. Next day he canceling y'all plans. He's sending you mixed emotions. Like this man, ain't it? If he wanted to, he would. A man like this is gonna create anxiety. You're gonna start overthinking. You're gonna start being confused, and then you're gonna start looking at yourself, asking yourself, what did I do wrong? And I love 1 Corinthians 14:33. For God is not the author of confusion, but of peace. A real man is not gonna confuse you, but bring you peace. Number 4, he got no direction or no discipline. He got no work ethic. He got no goals. He got no direction of where he wanna go in his life. Instead of you feeling like his girl, you feel like his mother. A relationship needs leadership, and you can see this in the consistency of his daily habits. Waking up early, working hard, keeping his promises, talking to God, but most importantly, being a man of his word. Now in Proverbs 29:18, it says, where there is no vision, the people perish. Now if he's not able to lead himself, best believe he's not going to be able to lead a business, lead a family, but most importantly, lead you. Now number 5, and this is the most important one, he pulls you away from God. That's why you got to look at the fruit. Now you got to be honest with yourself. When you with him, do you feel more convicted? Do you pray less? Do you skip church? Do you compromise more? Because some relationships look good, but they weaken your walk with the Lord. And hear me, God will never send you someone that's going to pull you away from him. And 1 Corinthians 15:33, it says, do not be deceived. Bad company corrupts good character. So if he costs you your relationship with God, he is too expensive. So for all the women of God, I'm trying to help you all out. Stop ignoring these red flags.
Let me list out the red flags that I missed. He knows this happened. I don't really care what he says. Like he knows that he did these things. He knows. He knows. These were very distinct things that he did to progress everything. So keep in mind when this is happening, I am a naive, loving, trusting woman in this situation. I thought this was real. I thought he was being genuine. In my mind, I'm like, he's a lot older than me. He's a dating coach. He knows what he's doing. He's not going to be doing and saying these things if he doesn't mean it, right? Wrong. First red flag. The second day that we were speaking, we were messaging, sending a lot of voice messages back. Met through Instagram, of course. We met through his content, of course. So by the second day, we're talking a lot. We're covering very serious topics like marriage, children, location, timelines. Do we want the same things? Values, family stuff. I think he was trying to establish closeness with me immediately. Red flag. Talked for like a week before we met in person. By the third day, before we met in person, he already referred to me as his potential future wife. Red flag. On the second date, he asked me what my type was physically. I told him. I then, of course, asked him what his type was physically. I never would have just asked that if he hadn't asked me that. And he told me I'm not his usual type. He likes darker women, women with darker skin, darker features. He told me I'm the whitest girl he's ever dated. Red flag. But he still convinced me that he was super into me. Later on in the second date, this is a good one, he suggested that we go away together for a weekend upstate. Yeah, red flag. It wasn't like, oh, we should do that one day. It was like, let's plan that in a few weeks. Obviously that sounds insane, but at the time I was like, wow, this guy is really serious about me. Like, he's making future plans for us. We went on 5 dates in less than 2 weeks, super fast paced, and that alone is also a red flag.
Here's a red flag that most women miss. Or worse, they think it's a green flag. And you probably thought this was a green flag too, and then you wasted months, years of your life with a guy that you shouldn't even have given him a fucking day of your life. And that red flag is the guy who is way too fast. Like, whew, within 2 weeks, he's like, you are the most special woman I've ever met in my life. I love you. I can picture us together. Oh, what would our children look like? Shut the fuck up. Do you want to know the reason why he does that? The reason why it's a red flag? First off, it's a red flag because he's not even listening to your needs. He doesn't care what you want. He doesn't care that you want to take things slow and actually get to know him. He's like, I want to now, just now. That doesn't seem like it's mutual respect, but it's also a red flag because guys like these, they're very emotionally unstable. He doesn't even know what he wants. He's just going through life one high after the other, and you right now are his new high. And let me tell you the thing about highs. That high will be gone in like 2 months.
After my most recent dating experience, I've learned and can confirm that the biggest red flag and the worst quality a man can have that us ladies need to be cautious of is he lustful? Is he lustful, and does he pretend like he's not lustful? Because let me tell you, there is something so dangerous about a man who is clearly lustful that pretends like he's a saint. He lacks control, he lacks discipline, he lacks the ability to feel satisfied from one source. Therefore, he's constantly seeking external validation to validate and satisfy his ego. And on top of this all, he's lying to you about it. So therefore, it means that he's not proud of who he is when he looks at himself in the mirror. Being with a man like this will slowly, if not immediately, destroy your self-worth. So if you have the slightest inkling that the man you're talking to could be lustful, I would recommend you to turn your ass 180 degrees and walk away, because that relationship will not end well.
Moving fast is how they hide the truth. And at first it feels so exciting, like they're so sure about you, like you're chosen, for once. They're talking about moving in together, getting married, planning a whole future very quickly. Part of you might feel flattered, like this is finally real true love. But if they're rushing you to commit, to merge lives, make big decisions, play house as soon as possible, pause and ask yourself, why the rush? Is that urgency, that pressure to lock it in very quickly, that is not love, it's strategy. Stick with me. It's about getting you hooked before you have time to think, before you notice the cracks in their stories, before their mask slips. People who move fast like that, they don't want connection, they want control. Because the faster they move, the less time you have to notice the lies, the red flags, the little gut feelings that you have but keep brushing off. And they might say things like, if it's really real and we really love each other, why wait? But listen, real love doesn't rush. It says, take your time because I'm not going anywhere. So pay attention to how you feel in your relationship, because if it feels more like pressure than peace, it might be a trap.
Ladies, my top 5 biggest red flags to look up for a guy. Number 1, too nice. If a guy is too nice, he is manipulative. It is what it is. No normal person is way too nice. I would be fucking like, yo, are you a psychopath, bro? Like, you're way too nice. Who's the real you? And that's when you realize, that's how a lot of girls get caught up in these narcissistic guys, because he's so super nice in the beginning. And then you realize, whoa, that was just an act. Of course. Like, come on now, common sense. Number 2, doesn't have a job for an extended period of time. How the fuck you gonna have a future? If a grown-ass man is okay with not having a job for more than a month, I mean, that's on you. You should already know the vibes. Tells you to cut off all your friends. If a guy is telling you to cut off all your friends, he's a narcissist and he's trying to control you mentally and emotionally. You should never do that. That's very fucking dangerous, right? Number 4, always playing the victim card. Listen, if a guy's always playing the victim card, he lacks a sense of accountability. Don't ever do it. Number 5, leads with wallet. If a guy leads with his wallet, that means he's trying to control you with his money. He thinks he could buy everything.
Here are just some random, insanely specific red flags that I've learned to look out for. Number 1, if it's a man and he's too much of a girl's girl, but he's straight, stop. I know what you're doing. Stop it now. Men should always be a little bit confused, supportive, but confused. Like he doesn't have an opinion on Taylor versus Charlie. He doesn't know that even Taylor Swift is a musician. He should barely know that. Music that they listen to, if it's too dramatic, be like, interesting. Music, reflection of the mind. Think about what they're listening to. Research that. When they tell you that they didn't think they were gonna like you before your first date. Like when they're like, oh, I thought you were gonna be this type of girl, but you're not. You're different than that. I am like that type of girl. I'm like every other girl you've ever met in your life. I'm actually worse than them. If they're talking about therapy and like their therapist a lot on the first date, there's something there. I don't know exactly what yet, but you guys think about that, digest that, come back to me, and you guys tell me, because I know there's something there. Doesn't mean I know what, but there's something. Figure it out. The things they post, I'm sorry. If they're posting so drama, like things that are like, with like a long caption, it's like, dude, why are you so drama? That is the person that will terrorize you over text for going out with your friends because you're abandoning them. They just look miserable on their social media, and then the captions are so cryptic, like as if we're all supposed to like feel bad for them. I don't feel bad for you at all. You're fine. The most evil people are the ones that are like so drama on there, like posting so many quotes. Where's the quote about being a good person to the people in your real life? Like, come on. They're like so set on taking you to one specific place for your first date. Interesting. If they know everyone everywhere they go, interesting. You tell me, guys. If they're calling you names jokingly, it starts as a joke. It always does. They're a man and they have a bunch of friends that are single, straight girls. Interesting. I don't know. Why aren't you dating them? So yeah.
A red flag in men that I feel like I didn't care about a lot when I was younger, but do now is promiscuity and being like very sexually careless and risky, and the need to like engage in very casual relations with people. And I feel like when I was younger, obviously it's like not ideal, but I didn't really care about it as much. And I think it's because of the way that we are kind of conditioned, right? So like as a woman, if you engage in those types of relations, you are seen as being insecure. You have low self-esteem. You're doing it because you need validation. You're doing it because you have like daddy issues, whatever it is. But men who do that in society are seen as being like ladies' men, and they can just like get any woman they want. And it doesn't have as negative of a connotation. And I think that's why women like accept it more, right? But as you get older and you kind of observe both men and women who are this way, men who have to engage in that also have low self-esteem and have low self-worth. Like, and they're insecure because they need that outside validation in order to feel good about themselves. And I've realized that a lot of the validation that they're looking for is actually from other men, because if they can show to other men that they're very desired by women and like, oh, I get with all these women, I can engage in hookup culture, whatever it is, they think it makes them look more manly. But I don't think that means that you're a confident person, and I don't think it means that you value yourself and like the energy that you give and receive in those types of relations. So I feel like now as I get older, I realize like, oh, that's such a red flag to me, because as you get older, you also see people who have engaged in that or continue to try to engage in it, and they don't seem very happy with themselves. And I think that it's a very depleting thing to go through after a long time, because again, I think it shows that you lack self-respect and self-worth, and you're kind of insecure because, again, you need other people to validate you all the time.
Red flags and guys, let's go. Number 1, if he is 25 years old or above and his main form of communication is Snapchat, major red flag. Like, if I'm out and about and you approach me asking me what's my Snapchat versus like my number or my Instagram, I automatically think you're shady. Second red flag is whenever he posts on social media like he's an influencer, but he's not an influencer. Like, I'm sorry, but why are you uploading selfies on your story? Why do you have highlights of every city you've been like you've been flown out? It's just such an ick. Red flag number 3 is whenever he is wearing the Van Cleef bracelet. I am all for guys accessorizing, okay? I actually encourage it. But a Van Cleef bracelet is like a marker for a sassy man. Like, girl, I promise you, if he's wearing a Van Cleef bracelet, he wants you to show up at his doorstep with flowers, okay? If he goes to any warehouse gym versus like a traditional gym, red flag, run. As somebody who used to work out at a warehouse gym and been to places like Outfleet, run. So yeah, these are just a few. Let me know if you think they're accurate.
You know, a red flag that does not get spoken about enough. Sometimes we even romanticize it. Sometimes we even normalize it and make it seem like it's okay and normal. When someone is messaging you every single second of the day and expects a response immediately, that is a huge red flag. They want to control your time. They want to control you. Now, this might sound like a bit of a reach to you, but hear me out. Abusers tend to spam message you, text you all the time, want replies instantly because they want to control your time. They want all your energy to be with them. They don't want you to talk to other people. They just want you to be messaging them every day. They want to call you all the time. This kind of control is not always obvious, because sometimes abusers will not directly say to you, message me, reply on time, don't talk to anyone else, but they will start making comments when you spend time with your family. They might start making comments when you replied a little late, or maybe you replied 10 minutes later instead of 5 minutes. They'll complain about that and they'll say, what were you doing? Why couldn't you just respond? They might tell you to carry your phone with you so that you can respond quicker. They might tell you to not put your phone on D&D so that you pick up their calls instantly. They might even make you feel guilty for going out with your friend and not responding to their text immediately. They might make you feel guilty for not giving updates because you went to the shop without telling them where you went. They might even say, I love you so much, I was just so worried, I didn't know what you were doing, I didn't know where you were, I didn't know if you were safe. Sometimes they can make it look like they're just worried, that they're just concerned, that they love you, they're doing this out of love, out of concern. That's not true. It's out of control. They want to control you. It's not normal to give someone constant updates about your whereabouts every 5 minutes. That's not normal, and it should not be normalized. It's not normal for someone to make you feel guilty when you go out with your friends, when you go out with your family, when you spend time with your family. It's not normal for them to be spam texting you when you don't respond. That's not normal. It's not normal for someone to turn up when you're with your family or when you're with your friends. That's not normal. And right now you might be thinking, why is this not normal? Because I tell you why. Over time this will escalate, and over time you will be conditioned to stop going out with your friends, to stop hanging out with your family, to reply to them immediately. You'll get a bit scared if you don't reply to them immediately, because it's not that you're expecting violence, but you're expecting a pushback, you're expecting arguments, you're expecting guilt tripping. You'll start feeling guilty if you don't respond, or if you don't call them immediately, if you don't give them updates. You might even start feeling like you're walking on eggshells if you don't respond, and it'll condition you to constantly be texting them and constantly be calling them. Then you will also be conditioned to stop going out with your friends because you know it upsets them. You'll stop going out with your family because you know it'll upset them. You know that they'll get angry at you. You know that there'll be pushback, and you don't even have the energy to deal with that. So you stop going out with your friends and family, and over time your friends notice, and then they start distancing from you because they realize that you're not even putting the effort that a normal friend should do. And then your family start to realize, and that might cause arguments. Before you know it, it's just you and the abuser. That's when it gets 10 times worse, when the abuse gets 10 times worse. Because now you're fully isolated, and now you're completely vulnerable to their abuse. You're vulnerable because there's no outside voices to support you. You've got no one except for the abuser. So who do you go to when you're in trouble? The abuser. Who do you talk to about your feelings? The abuser. You don't have anyone because you've isolated. So please, don't ignore the red flags of when they're texting you all day, because that's not normal. A healthy relationship means having your own time alone, having your own space alone, not having to constantly text them updates about what you're doing every second of the day, because you're two individual people and you're going to have your own time away from each other, and you're going to be doing things separately.
I'm going to share with you all the red flags that I have overlooked in dating to make you hopefully feel better about the times you have overlooked red flags in dating. And just a disclaimer, please hold. As a disclaimer, this is not all from the same person. This is just various different men. Red flag number 1, while we were just having a casual ice cream date, he randomly brought up that men should be allowed to have multiple girlfriends, but women should not be allowed to have multiple boyfriends, because if a woman gets pregnant, they don't know who the dad is. That somehow made like complete sense in his mind, but if you can figure that one out, let me know. Red flag number 2, one time I was dating a guy who thought he was trying to compliment me, but this is what he said, so you be the judge of whether this was a compliment or not, or a red flag. But he said, shallow guys might judge him for being with me, but he doesn't care. He thinks my body is beautiful. Yeah. Red flag number 3, I dated a guy who was so obsessed with the Music Man that he watched it every single night before he went to bed. Might be more of an ick. Red flag number 4, I was dating a man who was getting ready to move across the country, and he wanted me to know how serious he was about moving across the country. And so he said that if I were to be pregnant, he would still move, and I would be fine raising the baby myself because I live next to my sister and she could help me.
Men will expose who they really are super early on. You just have to pay attention and sometimes read in between the lines. It's in the micro behaviors, the little things that you make excuses for, the little things that are seemingly insignificant. Those are the moments that you need to start paying attention to. Here are 3 micro red flags, part 4, things that he might be doing to expose his true intention. Number 1, he's bringing up his ex too often. If someone in conversation constantly keeps bringing something up, whether it's an ex, whether it's something just completely random, that means it still holds importance in their life. Trust what he's telling you. If it's a constant thing that you're not even asking for, if he's giving you a bunch of details of what happened with his ex, chances are he's not over his ex. Number 2, if he says anything along the lines of, you're different, you're not like other girls, you're so special, I've never felt like this before, and it's only been a couple days, a couple weeks, trust that that man is probably love bombing you, okay? It is so easy to feel a vibe or feel like high emotions when you first meet someone, but it's based on feelings alone, not actually knowing who you are and anything about you. So if they're telling you something but it's not backed by this person actually knowing you and who you are, chances are he's gonna run away in a month or 2. Give it some time. I promise you, this story always ends up the same. Number 3, he shares about his traumas on the first few dates. If this man is sharing really dark, deep things about his life in the first few dates, know that 1, he's probably not emotionally stable, or he's doing it in order to gain closeness to you, or what you think is closeness, because you're like, wow, he's really vulnerable with me, he's really opening up to me, he really needs someone like me, let me help him, let me save him, let me fix him. so that you become attached to him and trying to help him figure his life out, so that you guys form this trauma bond that shouldn't have really ever happened. Because why are you telling me all of your traumatic experiences first date? He hasn't processed his trauma. He's using you as free therapy, and he wants a fast track to get close to you so that you trust him enough to get what he wants out of you.
What red flags should I look for in a man? One of the biggest red flags in a man, leaving hard eye comments on girls' Instagrams. I'm sorry, absolutely not. It is a red flag if a man is always complaining that his ex was the problem. 9 times out of 10, he was the problem. If a man is comparing you constantly to his ex, positive or negative, if he says, oh, my ex always did that, I can't believe you're doing that. My ex never did that. Why are you doing that? It is a red flag if a man is constantly making misogynistic jokes, because that's how he actually feels about it.
Most truths are said in jest. You believe some of it.
If a man is hiding his phone password from you, that is a red flag. Do not let him tell you that he needs his privacy and everyone deserves their privacy. That's not about privacy, that's about secrecy. It is a red flag if a guy is always telling you that you're jealous and insecure. If you genuinely know that he is just doing things to make you feel that way, major red flag. Huge sign of a gaslighter. They like to use words that have a negative connotation to make you feel like you're probably wrong. Because technically, yes, he can say that. You're having feelings of jealousy for legitimate reasons.
So, red flags. What are my red flags in a man? Number 1, if he keep posting himself, like always doing Snapchat, always taking pictures of himself, like always acting like a woman, doing selfie, that's a big red flag for me. And number 2 red flag, he's always going on live stream with women. TikTok live stream, he's always there gifting women. That is another red flag for me. Number 3, he's always posting different girls on his status. Happy birthday, different girls. They are all, any girl that is having her birthday, he posts them on his status. That is 3. Number 4, he's always too good to be true. Like, he's too nice. He's just too nice. There is no, how do I say it? He's always perfect. There is no imperfection. He's just perfect. That is a big, mighty, gigantic red flag. And one more, there are a lot of red flags. I'm trying to remember. And on your first date, he tell you he loves you. He want to marry you. He want to spend the rest of his life with you. That's a red flag. Like, you guys just met. He's telling you he loves you. That is missing ribs. That is a big red flag. Guys, there are a lot of red flags. Like, there are a lot. So if you see any of these signs listed in this video, just know that you are in a fake, a lie, a secret lie relationship. Let me see if I can still think about another red flag. Guys, it's just too much. Red flags is, we also have red flags. We the women, we also have red flags. We don't know it's red flags. It's maybe our partner. We also see our red flags. So yeah, red flags is bound to happen in a relationship. But the red flags, sometimes if you talk to your partner about it, you guys can work it out. But there are some red flags that you cannot work it out. You just have to excuse yourself from the relationship. So guys, that is my take on this video. If you are in any relationship, if you are in a relationship where the things listed in this video is happening in your relationship, baby girl, move. That is not a relationship. That is a relationship full and built on red flags. And girl, you don't deserve to be in that environment. Anyway, y'all, we've come to the ending of this video. If you find this video interesting, don't forget to like and also leave your comment in the comment section. Tell us if you have ever been in a relationship full of red flags. And don't forget to share. And if you're new, what are you waiting for, girl? Smash that subscribe button for more wonderful stories like this. Anyway, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye, y'all.